Act 1 of the Rehearsal by George Villiers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Prologue. We might well call this short mock play of ours a posy made of weeds instead of flowers. Yet such have been presented to your noses, and there are such, I fear, who thought 'em roses. Would some of 'em were here to see this night what stuff it is in which they took delight. Here brisk insipid blades for wit let fall, sometimes dull sense, but oftener none at all. There strutting heroes with a grim-faced train shall brave the gods in King Cambyses' vein. For changing rules of late, as if men writ in spite of reason, nature, art, and wit, our poets make us laugh at tragedy, and with their comedies they make us cry. Now, critics, do your worst that here are met, for like a rook I have hedged in my bet. If you approve, I shall assume the state of those high flyers whom I imitate, and justly too, for I will show you more than ever they vouchsafe to show before. I will both represent the feats they do, and give you all their reasons for 'em too. Some honour to me will from this arise, but if by my endeavours you grow wise, and what was once so praised you now despise, then I'll cry out, swelled with poetic rage, 'Tis I, John Lacey, have reformed your stage. Dramatis Personae.
Bays, read by Todd.
Johnson, read by Greg Giordano.
Smith, read by Beeswax Candle.
First King of Brentford, read by Adrian Stevens.
The Second King of Brentford, read by Gail Hall.
Prince Prettyman, read by Alan Mapstone.
Prince Volscius, read by Ethan Hurst.
Gentleman Usher, read by Claudia Caldi.
Physician, read by Larry Wilson.
Draw Cancer, read by Elijah Fisher.
General, read by Priamides.
Lieutenant General, read by Lynette Calkins.
Cordelio, read by Red Run.
Tom Thimble, read by Jim Locke.
Fisherman, read by David Purdy.
Sun, read by Agnes Robert Bear.
Thunder, read by Claudia Caldi.
First Player, read by Matthias Thorndal.
Second Player, read by Alan Mapstone.
Third Player, read by Red Run.
First Soldier, read by Sonia.
Second Soldier, read by Elijah Fisher.
First Herald, read by Inko.
Second Herald, read by David Purdy.
Amaryllis, read by Michelle Eaton.
Chloris, read by Jen Broda.
Parthenope, read by Inko.
Palace, read by Hope.
Lightning, read by Avai.
Moon, read by Oogie's Ragdoll.
Earth, read by Stunning.
Shirley, read by Elsie Selwyn.
Stage directions, read by Devorah Allen. Scene, Brentford. The Rehearsal, Act 1, Scene 1. Johnson and Smith.
Honest Frank, I'm glad to see thee with all my heart. How long hast thou been in town?
Faith, not above an hour, and if I had not met you here, I had gone to look you out, for I long to talk with you freely, and of all the strange new things we have heard in the country.
And, by my troth, I have longed as much to laugh with you at all the impertinent, dull, fantastical things we are tired out with here.
Dull and fantastical. That's an excellent composition. Pray, what of our men of business doing?
I ne'er inquire after 'em. Thou know'st my humour lies another way. I love to please myself as much and to trouble others as little as I can, and therefore do naturally avoid the company of those solemn fops, who, being incapable of reason and insensible of wit and pleasure, are always looking grave and troubling one another, in hopes to be thought men of business.
Indeed, I have ever observed that your grave lookers are the dullest of men.
Ay, and of birds and beasts too. Your gravest bird is an owl, and your gravest beast is an ass.
Well, but how dost thou pass thy time?
Why, as I used to do, eat and drink as well as I can, have a she-friend to be private with in the afternoon, and sometimes see a play, where there are such things, Frank, such hideous, monstrous things, that it has almost made me forswear the stage, and resolve to apply myself to the solid nonsense of your pretenders to business, as the more ingenious pastime.
I've heard indeed that you have had lately many new plays, and our country wits commend 'em.
Ay, so do some of our city wits too, but they are of the new kind of wits.
New kind? What kind is that?
Why, your Blade, your Frank Persons, your Drolls, fellows that scorn to imitate nature, but are given altogether to elevate and surprise.
Elevate and surprise. Prithee, make me understand the meaning of that.
Nay, by my troth, that's a hard matter. I don't understand that myself. 'Tis a phrase they have got among them, to express their no meaning by. I'll tell you, as well as I can, what it is. Let me see. 'Tis fighting, loving, sleeping, rhyming, dying, dancing, singing, crying, and everything but thinking and sense.
Mr. Bayes passes o'er the stage.
Your most obsequious and most observant, most servant, sir.
Cut so! This is an author. I'll fetch him to you.
Nay, prithee let him alone.
Nay, by the Lord, I'll have him.
Goes after him.
Here he is. I have caught him. Pray, sir, for my sake, will you do a favour to this friend of mine?
Sir, it is not within my small capacity to do favours, but receive 'em, especially from a person that does wear the honourable title you are pleased to impose, sir, upon this. Sweet sir, your servant.
Your humble servant, sir.
But wilt thou do me a favour now?
I, sir? What is't?
Why, to tell him the meaning of thy last play.
How, sir, the meaning? Do you mean the plot?
Ay, anything.
Faith, sir, the intrigo's now quite out of my head, but I have a new one in my pocket that I may say is a virgin. It has never yet been blown upon. I must tell you one thing, 'tis all new wit, and though I say it, a better than my last, and you know well enough how that took. In fine, it shall read, and write, and act, and plot, and shew, ay, and pit, box, and gallery, egad, with any play in Europe. This morning is its last rehearsal, in their habits, and all that as it is to be acted. And if you and your friend will do it but the honour to see it in its virgin attire, though perhaps it may blush, I shall not be ashamed to discover its nakedness unto you. I think it is this side.
Puts his hand in his pocket.
Sir, I confess I am not able to answer you in this new way, but if you please to lead, I shall be glad to follow you, and I hope my friend will do so too.
Aye, sir? I have no business so considerable as shall keep me from your company.
Yes, here it is. No, cry you mercy. This is my book of Drama Commonplaces, the mother of many other plays.
Drama Commonplaces. Pray, what's that?
Why, sir, some certain helps that we men of art have found it convenient to make use of.
How, sir? Helpful wit?
Aye, sir, that's my position. And I do here aver that no man yet the sun e'er shone upon has parts sufficient to furnish out a stage, except it be with the help of these my rules.
What are those rules, I pray?
Why, sir, my first rule is the rule of transversion, or regula duplex, changing verse into prose, or prose into verse, alternative as you please.
How's that, sir? By a rule, I pray?
Why, thus, sir. Nothing more easy when understood. I take a book in my hand, either at home or elsewhere, for that's all one if there be any wit in it, as there is no book but has some. I transverse it, that is, if it be prose, put it into verse, but that takes up some time. If it be verse, put it into prose.
Methinks, Mr. Bayes, that putting verse into prose should be called transprosing.
By my troth, a very good notion, and hereafter it shall be so.
Well, sir, and what d'ye do with it then?
Make it my own. 'Tis so altered that no man can know it. My next rule is the rule of record, and by way of table book. Pray observe.
Well, we hear you. Go on.
As thus. I come into a coffee-house, or some other place where witty men resort. I make as if I minded nothing. Do you mark? But as soon as anyone speaks, pop, I slap it down, and make that too my own.
But, Mr. Bayes, are not you sometimes in danger of their making you restore, by force, what you have gotten thus by art?
No, sir. The world's unmindful. They never take notice of these things.
But pray, Mr. Bayes, among all your other rules, have you no one rule for invention?
Yes, sir. That's my third rule that I have here in my pocket.
What rule can that be?
Why, sir, when I have anything to invent, I never trouble my head about it as other men do, but presently turn o'er this book, and there I have, at one view, all that Persius, Montaigne, Seneca's tragedies, Horace, Juvenal, Claudian, Pliny, Plutarch's lives, and the rest, have ever thought upon this subject. And so, in a trice, by leaving out a few words or putting in others of my own, the business is done.
Indeed, Mr. Bayes, this is as sure and compendious a way of wit as ever I heard of.
Aye, sirs, when you come to write yourselves, on my word you'll find it so. But, gentlemen, if you make the least scruple of the efficacy of these my rules, do but come to the playhouse, and you shall judge of 'em by the effects.
We'll follow you, sir.
Exeunt. Enter 3 players upon the stage.
Have you your part perfect?
Yes, I have it without book, but I don't understand how it's to be spoken.
And mine is such a one as I can't guess for my life what humour I'm to be in, whether angry or melancholy, merry or in love. I don't know what to make on it.
Whew! The author will be here presently, and he'll tell us all. You must know this is the new way of writing, and these hard things please 40 times better than the old plain way. For, look you, sir, the grand design upon the stage is to keep the auditors in suspense, for to guess presently at the plot and the sense tires them before the end of the first act. Now here, every line surprises you and brings in new matter. And then for scenes, clothes, and dancing, we put 'em quite down, all that ever went before us. And these are the things, you know, that are essential to a play.
Well, I am not of thy mind, but so it gets us money, 'tis no great matter.
Enter Bayes, Johnson, and Smith.
Come in, gentlemen. You're very welcome, have you your part ready?
Yes, sir.
But do you understand the true humour of it?
Aye, sir, pretty well.
And Amaryllis, how does she do? Does not her armour become her?
Oh, admirably.
I'll tell you now, a pretty conceit. What do you think I'll make 'em call her anon in this play?
What, I pray?
Why, I'll make 'em call her Armaryllis, because of her armour.
That will be very well indeed.
Aye, it's a pretty little rogue. She is my mistress. I knew her face would set off armour extremely. And to tell you true, I writ that part only for her. Well, gentlemen, I dare be bold to say, without vanity, I'll show you something here that's very ridiculous. Egad!
Exeunt players.
Sir, that we do not doubt of.
Pray, sir, let's sit down. Look you, sir, the chief hinge of this play, upon which the whole plot moves and turns, and that causes the variety of all the several accidents, which, you know, are the thing in nature that make up the grand refinement of a play, is, that I suppose two kings to be of the same place, as, for example, at Brentford, for I love to write familiarity. Now, the people having the same relations to 'em both, the same affections, the same duty, the same obedience, and all that, are divided among themselves, in point of devoir and interest, how to behave themselves equally between 'em. These kings differing sometimes in particular, though in the main they agree. I know not whether I make myself well understood?
I did not observe you, sir. Pray, say that again.
Why, look you, sir. Nay, I beseech you, be a little curious in taking notice of this, or else you'll never understand my notion of the thing. The people being embarrassed by their equal ties to both, and the sovereigns concerned in a reciprocal regard, as well to their own interest, as the good of the people, may upon a certain kind of you understand me, upon which there does arise several disputes, turmoils, heart-burnings, and all that. In fine, you'll apprehend it better when you see it.
Exit to call the players.
I find the author will be very much obliged to the players if they can make any sense of this.
Enter Bayes.
Now, gentlemen, I would fain ask your opinion of one thing. I have made a prologue and an epilogue, which may both serve for either. Do you mark? Nay, they may both serve too, egad, for any other play as well as this.
Very well. That's indeed artificial.
And I would fain ask your judgment now, which of them would do best for the prologue. For, you must know, there is, in nature, but two ways of making very good prologues. The one is by civility, by insinuation, good language, and all that, to, in a manner, steal your plaudit from the courtesies of the auditors. The other, by making use of some certain personal things, which may keep a hank upon such censuring persons, as cannot otherwise, egad, in nature, be hindered from being too free with their tongues. To which end, my first prologue is, that I come out in a long black veil, and a great huge hangman behind me, with a furred cap and his sword drawn, and there tell 'em plainly, that if, out of good nature, they will not like my play, why, egad, I'll e'en kneel down, and he shall cut my head off. Whereupon, they all clapping,
But suppose they do not?
Suppose? Sir, you may suppose what you please. I have nothing to do with your suppose, sir, nor am I not at all mortified at it. Not at all, sir. Gad, not one jot. Suppose, quoth,
Walks away.
Phoo! Prithee, Bays, don't mind what he says. He's a fellow newly come out of the country. He knows nothing of what's the relish here of the town.
If I writ, sir, to please the country, I should have followed the old plain way. But I write for some persons of quality, and peculiar friends of mine, that understand what flame and power in writing is, and they do me the right, sir, to approve of what I do.
Aye, they will clap, I warrant you. Never fear it.
I'm sure the design's good. That cannot be denied. And then, for language, egad, I defy 'em all in nature to mend it. Besides, sir, I have printed above 100 sheets of paper to insinuate the plot into the boxes, and withal have appointed 2 or 3 dozen of my friends to be ready in the pit, who, I'm sure, will clap, and so the rest, you know, must follow. And then, pray, sir, what becomes of your suppose?
Nay, if the business be so well laid, it cannot miss.
I think so, sir, and therefore would choose this for the prologue. For if I could engage 'em to clap before they see the play, you know 'twould be so much the better, because then they were engaged. For, let a man write ne'er so well, there are, nowadays, a sort of persons, they call critics, that, egad, have no more wit in 'em than so many hobby horses, but they'll laugh you, sir, and find fault, and censure things that, egad, I'm sure they are not able to do themselves. A sort of envious persons, that emulate the glories of persons of parts, and think to build their fame by calumniating of persons that, egad, to my knowledge of all persons in the world are, in nature, the persons that do as much despite all that as, in fine, I'll say no more of 'em.
Aye, you have said enough of 'em, in conscience. I'm sure more than they'll ever be able to answer.
Why, I'll tell you, sir, sincerely, and bona fide, were it not for the sake of some ingenious persons, and choice female spirits, that have a value for me, I would see 'em all hanged before I would ever more set pen to paper. But let 'em live in ignorance like ingrates.
Aye, marry, that were a way to be revenged of 'em indeed, and if I were in your place, now, I would do it.
No, sir, there are certain ties upon me, that I cannot be disengaged from, otherwise I would. But pray, sir, how do you like my hangman?
By my troth, sir, I should like him very well.
Aye, but how do you like it? For I see you can judge. Would you have it for the prologue or the epilogue?
Faith, sir, it's so good, let it even serve for both.
No, that won't do. Besides, I have made another.
What other, sir?
Why, sir, my other is Thunder and Lightning.
That's greater? I'd rather stick to that.
Do you think so? I'll tell you then, though there have been many witty prologues written of late, yet I think you'll say this is a non-pareil. I'm sure no one has hit upon it yet. For here, sir, I make my prologue to be dialogue, and as, in my first, you see I strive to oblige the auditors by civility, by good nature, and all that, so in this, by the other way, in terrarum, I choose for the persons thunder and lightning. Do you apprehend the conceit?
Phoo! Pox! Then you have it cocksure. They'll be hanged before they'll dare affront an author that has 'em at that luck.
I have made, too, one of the most delicate, dainty similes in the whole world. Egad, if I knew but how to apply it.
Let's hear it, I pray you.
'Tis an allusion to love. So bore and sow, when any storm is nigh, snuff up and smell it gathering in the sky. Boar beckons sow to trot in chestnut groves, and there consummate their unfinished loves. Pensive in mud they wallow all alone, and snort and gruntle to each other's moan. How do you like it now, huh?
Faith, 'tis extraordinary fine, and very applicable to thunder and lightning, methinks, because it speaks of a storm.
Egad, and so it does, now I think on't. Mr. Johnson, I thank you, and I'll put it in profecto. Come out, Thunder and Lightning.
Enter Thunder and Lightning.
I am the bold Thunder.
Mr. Cartwright, prithee speak a little louder, and with a hoarser voice. I am the bold Thunder. Pshaw! Speak at me in a voice that thunders it out indeed. I am the bold Thunder.
I am the bold Thunder.
The brisk Lightning, I.
Nay, you must be quick and nimble, the brisk lightning, eh? That's my meaning.
I am the bravest Hector of the sky.
And I, fair Helen, that made Hector die.
I strike men down.
I fire the town.
Let the critics take heed how they grumble, for then begin I for to rumble.
Let the ladies allow us their graces, or I'll blast all the paint on their faces, and dry up their Peter to suit.
Let the critics look to it.
Let the ladies look to it.
For thunder will do it.
For lightning will shoot.
I'll give you dash for dash.
I'll give you flash for flash. Gallants, I'll singe your feather.
I'll thunder you together.
Look to it, look to it, we'll do it, we'll do it. Look to it, we'll do it. Look to it, look to it, we'll do it, we'll do it.
Exeunt both.
That's all. 'Tis but a flash of a prologue, a droll.
'Tis short indeed, but very terrible.
Aye, when the simile is in, it will do to a miracle, egad. Come, come, begin the play.
Enter first player.
Sir, Mr. Ivory is not come yet, but he'll be here presently. He's but 2 doors off.
Come then, gentlemen, let's go out and take a pipe of tobacco.
Exeunt. End of Act 1. Act 2 of the Rehearsal by George Villiers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 2, Scene 1. Bayes, Johnson, and Smith.
Now, sir, because I'll do nothing here that ever was done before.
Spitz.
A very notable design for a play indeed.
Instead of beginning with a scene that discovers something of the plot, I begin this with a whisper.
Oh, that's very new.
Come, take your seats. Begin, sirs.
Enter gentleman usher and physician.
Sir, by your habit, I should guess you to be the gentleman usher of this sumptuous place.
And I, by your gait and fashion, I should almost suspect you ruled the health of both our noble kings under the notion of physician.
You hit my function right.
And you mine.
Then let's embrace.
Come then.
Come.
Pray, sir, who are those 2 so very civil persons?
Why, sir, the gentleman usher and physicians of the 2 kings of Brentford.
But how comes it to pass, then, that they know one another no better?
Pooh! That's for the better carrying on of the intrigue.
Very well.
Sir, to conclude.
What, before he begins?
No, sir. You must know they had been talking of this a pretty while without.
Where? In the tiring room?
Why, aye, sir. He's so dull. Come, speak again.
Sir, to conclude, the place you fill has more than amply exacted the talents of a wary pilot, and all these threatening storms which, like impregnant clouds, do hover o'er our heads, when they once are grasped by the eye of reason, melt into fruitful showers of blessing on the people.
Pray mark that allegory. Is not that good?
Yes, that grasping of a storm with the eye is admirable.
But yet some rumours great are stirring, and if Lorenzo should prove false, as none but the great gods can tell, you would then perhaps find that...
Whispers.
Now they whisper.
Alone, do you say?
No, attended with the noble...
Whispers.
Who? In grey?
Yes, and at the head of...
Whispers.
Pray mark.
Then, sir, most certain 'twill in time appear these are the reasons that induce them to it. First...
Now to other whispers.
Secondly, they...
He's at it still.
Thirdly and lastly, both he and they...
Here they both whisper.
Exeunt whispering.
Now, gentlemen, pray tell me true, and without flattery, is not this a very odd beginning of a play?
In troth, I think it is, sir. But why two kings of the same place?
Why, because it's new, and that's it I aim at. I despise your Johnson and Beaumont that borrowed all their wit from nature. I am for fetching it purely out of my own fancy, I.
But what think you of Sir John Suckling, sir?
By gad, I am a better poet than he.
Well, sir, but pray why all this whispering?
Why, sir, besides that it is new, as I told you before, because they are supposed to be politicians, and matters of state ought not to be divulged.
But then, sir, why...
Sir, if you'll but respite your curiosity till the end of the 5th act, you'll find it a piece of patience not ill recompensed.
Goes to the door.
How dost thou like this, Frank? Is it not just as I told thee?
Why, I did never before this see anything in nature and all that, as Mr. Bayes says, so foolish. But I could give some guess at what moved the fop to do it. But this, I confess, does go beyond my reach.
Why, 'tis all alike. Mr. Wintershall has informed me of this play before. And I'll tell thee, Frank, thou shalt not see one scene here that either properly ought to come in, or is like anything thou canst imagine has ever been the practice of the world. And then, when he comes to what he calls good language, it is, as I told thee, very fantastical, most abominably dull, and not one word to the purpose.
It does surprise me, I'm sure. Very much.
Aye, but it won't do so long. By that time thou hast seen a play or two that I'll shew thee, thou wilt be pretty well acquainted with this new kind of foppery.
Scene 2. Enter the 2 kings, hand in hand.
These are the 2 kings of Brentford. Take notice of their style. 'Twas never yet upon the stage. But, if you like it, I could make a shift, perhaps, to show you a whole play, written all just so.
Did you observe their whisper, brother king?
I did, and heard besides a grave bird sing, that they intend, sweetheart, to play us pranks.
This, now, is familiar, because they are both persons of the same quality.
'Sdeath, this would make a man spew.
If that design appears, I'll lug 'em by the ears until I make 'em crack.
And so will I, Isaac.
You must begin, mon foy.
Sweet sir, pardonnez-moi.
Mark that. I makes them both speak French to show their breeding.
Oh, 'tis extraordinary fine.
Then, spite of fate, we'll thus combined stand, and like true brothers walk still hand in hand.
Exeunt Kings.
This is a very majestic scene indeed.
Aye, 'tis a crust, a lasting crust for your rogue critics, egad. I would fain see the proudest of 'em all but dare to nibble at this. Egad, if they do, this shall rub their gums for 'em, I promise you. It was I, you must know, writ the play I told you of in this very style. And shall I tell you a very good jest? Egad, the players would not act it.
That's impossible.
Egad, they would not, sir. They refused it, egad, the silly rogues.
Fie, that was rude.
Rude? Egad, they are the rudest, uncivilized persons and all that in the whole world. Egad, there's no living with 'em. I have written, Mr. Johnson, I do verily believe a whole cartload of things, every whit as good as this, and yet, I vow to gad, these insolent rascals have turned 'em all back upon my hands again.
Strange fellows indeed.
But pray, Mr. Bayes, how came these two kings to know of this whisper? For as I remember, they were not present at it.
No, but that's the actor's fault, and not mine. For the king should, a pox take 'em, have popped both their heads in at that door, just as the other went off.
That indeed would have done it.
Done it? Aye, egad, these fellows are able to spoil the best things in Christendom. I tell you, Mr. Johnson, I vow to gad, I have been so highly disobliged by the peremptoriousness of these fellows, that I am resolved, hereafter, to bend all my thoughts for the service of the nursery, and mump your proud players, egad.
Scene 3. Enter Prince Prettyman.
How strange a captive am I grown of late! Shall I accuse my love, or blame my fate? My love I cannot, that is too divine, and against fate what mortal dares repine?
Enter Chloris.
But here she comes, sure 'tis some blazing comet, is it not?
Lies down.
Blazing comet, mark that, egad, very fine.
But I am so surprised with sleep, I cannot speak the rest.
Sleeps.
Does not that now surprise you, to fall asleep just in the nick? His spirits exhale with the heat of his passion and all that, and Swap falls asleep as you see. Now here she must make a simile.
Where's the necessity of that, Mr. Bayes?
Because she's surprised. That's a general rule. You must ever make a simile when you are surprised. 'Tis the new way of writing.
As some tall pine, which we on Etna find, to have stood the rage of many a boisterous wind, feeling without, that flames within do play, which would consume his root and sap away. He spreads his worsted arms unto the sky, silently grieves, all pale, repines, and dies. So shrouded up, your bright eye disappears. Break forth, bright scorching sun, and dry my tears.
Exit.
I'm afraid, sir, this scene has made you sad, for I must confess, when I read it, I wept myself.
No, truly, sir, my spirits are almost exhaled too, and I'm likely to fall asleep.
Prince Prettyman starts up and says,
It is resolved.
Exit.
Mr. Bayes, may one be so bold as to ask you a question now, and you not be angry?
Oh, Lord, sir, you may ask me what you please. I vow to gad, you do me a great deal of honour. You do not know me, if you say that, sir.
Then pray, sir, what is it that this prince here has resolved in his sleep?
Why, I must confess that question is well enough asked, for one that is not acquainted with this new way of writing. But you must know, sir, that to outdo all my fellow writers, whereas they keep their intrigos secret till the very last scene before the dance, I now, sir, do you mark me,
begin the play and end it without ever opening the plot at all?
I do so. That's the very plain truth on it. I do, egad. If they cannot find it out themselves, e'en let 'em alone for Bayes, I warrant you. But here now is a scene of business. Pray observe it, for I dare say you'll think it no unwise discourse this, nor ill argued. To tell you true, 'tis a debate I overheard once betwixt two grand, sober, governing persons.
Scene 4. Enter Gentleman Usher and Physician.
Come, sir, let's state the matter of fact and lay our heads together.
Right. Lay our heads together. I love to be merry sometimes, but when a knotty point comes, I lay my head close to it, with a pipe of tobacco in my mouth, and then I hew it away, i'faith.
I do just so, egad, always.
The grand question is whether they heard us whisper, which I divide thus into when they heard, what they heard, and whether they heard or no.
Most admirably divided, I swear.
As to the one you say just now, so that is answered. Then for what? Why, what answers itself, for what could they hear but what we talked of? So then naturally and of necessity we come to the last question, viz. Whether they heard or no.
This is a very wise scene, Mr. Bayes.
Yes, you have it right. They are both politicians. I writ this scene for a pattern to show the world how men should talk of business.
You have done it exceedingly well indeed.
Yes, I think this will do.
Well, if they heard us whisper, they'll turn us out, and nobody else will take us.
Nobody else will take us.
Not for politicians, I dare answer for it.
Let's then no more ourselves in vain bemoan. We are not safe until we them unthrown.
'Tis right, and since occasion now seems debonair, I'll seize on this, and you shall take that chair.
They draw their swords and sit down in the two great chairs upon the stage.
There's now an odd surprise. The whole state's turned quite topsy-turvy, without any pother or stir in the whole world, egad.
A very silent change of government, truly, as ever I heard of.
It is so. And yet you shall see me bring 'em in again, by and by, in as odd a way every jot.
The usurpers march out, flourishing their swords. Enter Shirley.
Hey ho, what a change is here! Heyday, I know not what to do, nor what to say.
Exit.
But pray, sir, how came they to depose the king so easily?
Why, sir, you must know they long had a design to do it before, but never could put it in practice till now. And to tell you true, that's one reason why I made 'em whisper so at first.
Oh, very well, now I'm fully satisfied.
And then, to show you, sir, it was not done so very easily neither. In this next scene you shall see some fighting.
Oh, so then you make the struggle to be after the business is done?
Aye.
Oh, I conceive you. That is very natural.
Scene 5. Enter 4 men at one door, and 4 at another, with their swords drawn.
Stand! Who goes there?
A friend.
What friend?
A friend to the house.
Fall on!
They all kill one another. Music strikes. Bays to the music.
Hold, hold!
It ceaseth.
Now here's an odd surprise. All these dead men you shall see rise up presently at a certain note that I have made in F ont flat, and fall a-dancing. Do you hear, dead men? Remember your note in F ont flat.
To the music.
Play on. Now, now, now.
The music play his note, and the dead men rise, but cannot get in order.
Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Out, out, out! Did ever men spoil a good thing so? No figure, no ear, no time, no thing. You dance worse than the angels in Harry the Eighth, or the fat spirits in the Tempest, egad.
Why, sir, 'tis impossible to do anything in time to this tune.
Oh, Lord, impossible? Why, gentlemen, if there be any faith in a person that's a Christian, I sit up 2 whole nights in composing this air and adapting it for the business. For if you observe, there are 2 several designs in this tune. It begins swift and ends slow. You talk of time and time. You shall see me do it. Look you now, here I am dead.
Lies down flat on his face.
Now, mark my note in F out flat. Strike up, music. Now.
As he rises up hastily, he tumbles and falls down again.
Oh, gadzooks! I have broken my nose.
By my troth, Mr. Bays, this is a very unfortunate note of yours. In E fo flat.
A plague of this damned stage with your nails and your tenterhooks, that a man cannot come to teach you to act, but he must break his nose and his face and the devil and all. Pray, sir, can you help me to a wet piece of brown paper?
No, indeed, sir. I don't usually carry any about me.
Sir, I'll go get you some within presently.
Go then. I'll follow you. Pray dance out the dance, and I'll be with you in a moment. Remember, you 4, that you dance like horsemen.
Exit Bays. They dance the dance, but can make nothing of it.
Ah, devil! Let's try this no more. Play my dance that Mr. Bays found fault with.
Dance and exeunt.
What can this fool be doing all this while about his nose?
Prithee, let's go see.
Exeunt. End of Act 2. Act 3 of The Rehearsal by George Villiers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1. Bays with a paper on his nose, and the 2 gentlemen.
Now, sir, this I do, because my fancy in this play is to end every act with a dance.
Faith, that fancy is very good, but I should hardly have broke my nose for it, though.
That fancy, I suppose, is new too?
Sir, all my fancies are so. I tread upon no man's heels, but make my flight upon my own wings, I assure you. As, now, this next scene, some perhaps will say, it is not very necessary to the plot. I grant it. What then? I meant it so. But then it's as full of drollery as ever it can hold. 'Tis like an orange stuck with cloves, as for conceit. Come, where are you? This scene will make you die with laughing, if it be well acted. It is a scene of sheer wit, without any mixture in the world, egad.
Reads.
Enter Prince Prettyman, and Tom Thimble, his tailor. This, sirs, might properly enough be called a prize of wit, for you shall see 'em come in upon one another snip-snap, hit for hit, as fast as can be. First one speaks, then presently another's upon him slap, with a repartee, then he at him again, dash with a new conceit, and so eternally, egad, till they go quite off the stage.
Goes to call the players.
What a plague does this fop mean by his snip-snap, hit for hit, and dash?
Mean? Why, he never meant anything in's life. What dost talk of meaning for?
Enter Bays.
Why don't you come in?
Enter Prince Prettyman and Tom Thimble.
But prithee, Tom Thimble, why wilt thou needs marry? If 9 tailors make but 1 man, and 1 woman cannot be satisfied with 9 men, what work art thou cutting out here for thyself, trow we?
Good.
Why, an't please your highness, if I can't make up all the work I cut out, I shan't want journeymen to help me, I warrant you.
Good again.
I am afraid thy journeyman, though, Tom, won't work by the day, but by the night.
Good still.
However, if my wife sits but cross-legged as I do, there will be no great danger, not half so much as when I trusted you for your coronation suit.
Very good, in faith.
Why, the times then lived upon trust. It was the fashion. You would not be out of time at such a time as that, sure. A tailor, you know, must never be out of fashion.
Right.
I'm sure, sir, I made your cloth in the court fashion, for you never paid me yet.
There's a bob for the court.
Why, Tom, thou art a sharp rogue when thou art angry, I see. Thou payest me now, methinks.
I, sir, in your own coin, you give me nothing but words.
Admirable before gad.
Well, Tom, I hope shortly I shall have another coin for thee. For now the war's come on, I shall grow to be a man of metal.
Oh, you did not do that half enough.
Methinks he does it admirably.
Aye, pretty well. But he does not hit me in it. He does not top his part.
That's the way to be stamped yourself, sir. I shall see you come home like an angel for the king's evil, with a hole bored through you.
Exeunt.
That's very good, in faith. Ha! There he has hit it up to the hilts, egad. How do you like it now, gentlemen? Is not this pure wit?
'Tis snip-snap, sir, as you say, but methinks not pleasant, nor to the purpose, for the play does not go on.
Play does not go on? I don't know what you mean. Why, is not this part of the play?
Yes, but the plot stands still.
Plot stands still? Why, what a devil is the plot good for, but to bring in fine things?
Oh, we did not know that before.
No, I think you did not, nor many things more that I am master of. Now, sir, egad, this is the bane of all us writers. Let us soar never so little above the common pitch, egad, all spoiled. For the vulgar never understand us. They can never conceive, you, sir, the excellence of these things.
'Tis a sad fate, I must confess. But you write on still?
Write on? Egad, I warrant you. 'Tis not their talk shall stop me. If they catch me at that lock, I'll give 'em leave to hang me. As long as I know my things to be good, what care I what they say? What, they are gone, and forgot the song?
They've done very well, methinks. Here's no need of one.
Alack, sir, you know nothing. You must ever interlard your plays with songs, ghosts, and idols, if you mean to,
Pit, box, and gallery, Mr. Bays.
Egad, sir, and you have nicked it. Hark you, Mr. Johnson, you know I don't flatter. Egad, you have a great deal of wit.
Oh, Lord, sir, you do me too much honour.
Nay, nay, come, Mr. Johnson. Iflax, this must not be said amongst us that have it. I know you have wit by the judgment you make of this play, for that's the measure I go by. My play is my touchstone. When a man tells me such a one is a person of parts, is he so, say I? What do I do but bring him presently to see this play? If he likes it, I know what to think of him. If not, your most humble servant, sir. I'll no more of him upon my word, I thank you. I am clairvoyant, egad. Oh, now here we go on to our business.
Scene 2. Enter the two usurpers, hand in hand.
But what's become of Vulcius the Great? His presence has not graced our court of late.
I fear some ill from emulation sprung has from us that illustrious hero wrung.
Is not that majestical?
Yes, but who a devil is that Vulcius?
Why, that's a prince I make in love with Parthenope.
I thank you, sir.
Enter Cordelio.
My lieges, news from Vulcius the prince.
His news is welcome, whatsoe'er it be.
How, sir, do you mean that? Whether it be good or bad?
Nay, pray, sir, have a little patience. God's succors, you'll spoil all my play. Why, sir, 'tis impossible to answer every impertinent question you ask.
Cry you mercy, sir.
His Highness, sirs, commanded me to tell you that the fair person whom you both do know, despairing of forgiveness for her fault, in a deep sorrow, twice she did attempt upon her precious life, but by the care of standers by, prevented was.
Sut! What stuff's here?
At last, Vulcius the Great this dire resolve embraced. His servants he into the country sent, and he himself to Piccadilly went, where he's informed by letters that she's dead.
Dead? Is that possible? Dead?
O ye gods!
Exeunt.
There's a smart expression of a passion. Oh, ye gods! That's one of my bold strokes, egad.
Yes, but who is the fair person that's dead?
That you shall know anon.
Nay, if we know it at all, 'tis well enough.
Perhaps you may find, too, by and by, for all of this, that she's not dead neither.
Marry, that's good news. I'm glad of that with all my heart.
Now, here's the man brought in that is supposed to have killed her.
A great shout within. Enter Amaryllis with a book in her hand and attendants.
What shout triumphant's that?
Enter a soldier.
Shy maid, upon the river brink near Twickenham town, the assassinate is taken.
Thanks to the powers above for this deliverance. I hope its slow beginning will portend a forward exit to all future end.
Pish! There you are out. To all future end? No, to all future end. You must lay the accent upon end, or else you lose the conceit.
Indeed, the alteration of that accent does a great deal, Mr. Bayes.
Oh, all in all, sir, they are these little things that mar, or set you off, a play.
I see you are perfect in these matters.
Aye, sir. I have been long enough at it to know something.
Enter soldiers dragging in an old fisherman.
Villain, what monster did corrupt thy mind, to attack the noblest soul of humane kind? Tell me who set thee on.
Prince Prettyman.
To kill whom?
Prince Prettyman.
What? Did Prince Prettyman hire you to kill Prince Prettyman?
No, Prince Vulcius.
To kill whom?
Prince Vulcius.
What? Did Prince Volscius hire you to kill Prince Volscius?
No, Prince Prettyman.
So drag him hence, till tortures of the rack produce his sense.
Exeunt.
Mark how I make the horror of his guilt confound his intellect, for that's the design of this scene.
I see, sir. You have a several design for every scene.
Aye, that's my way of writing. And so I can dispatch you, sir, a whole play, before another man, egad, can make an end of his plot. So, now enter Prince Prettyman in a rage. Where the devil is he? Why, Prettyman, why when, I say, oh, fie. All's marred now, I vow to gad, quite marred.
Enter Prettyman.
Oh, pox, you are come too late, sir. Now you may go out again, if you please. I vow to gad, mister, I would not give a button for my play, now you have done this.
What, sir?
What, sir? 'Slife, sir, you should have come out in choler, rouse upon the stage, just as the other went off. Must a man be eternally telling you of these things?
Sure, this must be some very notable matter that he's so angry at.
I'm not of your opinion.
Pish. Come, let's hear your part, sir.
Bring in my father. Why'd you keep him from me? Although a fisherman, he is my father. Was ever son yet brought to this distress, to be, for being a son, made fatherless? Oh, you just gods, rob me not of a father, the being of a son take from me rather.
Exit.
Well, Ned, what think you now?
A devil! This is worst of all. Pray, Mr. Bayes, what's the meaning of this scene?
Oh, cry you mercy, sir. I protest I had forgot to tell you. Why, sir, you must know that, long before the beginning of this play, this prince was taken by a fisherman.
How, sir? Taken prisoner?
Taken prisoner? Oh, Lord, what a question's there! Did ever any man ask such a question? Taken prisoner? God's succours, he has put the plot quite out of my head with this damned question. What was I going to say?
Nay, the Lord knows. I cannot imagine.
Stay, let me see. Taken. Oh, 'tis true. Why, sir, as I was going to say, his highness here, that prince, was taken in a cradle by a fisherman, and brought up as his child.
Indeed?
Nay, prithee hold thy peace. And so, sir, this murder being committed by the riverside, the fisherman, upon suspicion, was seized, and thereupon the prince grew angry.
So. Now 'tis very plain.
But, Mr. Bayes, is not that some disparagement to a prince, to pass for a fisherman's son? Have a care of that, I pray.
No, not at all, for 'tis but for a while. I shall fetch him off again. Presently you shall see.
Enter Prettyman and Thimble.
By all the gods, I'll set the world on fire, rather than let 'em ravish hence my sire.
Brave, Prettyman, it is at length revealed that he is not thy sire, who thee concealed.
Lord, you now, there he's off again.
Admirably done, in faith.
Aye, now the plot thickens very much upon us.
What oracle this darkness can evince? Sometimes a fisher's son, sometimes a prince. It is a secret great as is the world, in which I, like the soul, am tossed and hurled. The blackest ink of fate sure was my lot, and when she writ my name, she made a blot.
Exit.
There's a blustering verse for you now.
Yes, sir, but pray, why is he so mightily troubled to find he is not a fisherman's son?
Oh, that is not because he has a mind to be his son, but for fear he should be thought to be nobody's son at all.
Oh, that would trouble a man indeed.
So let me see. Enter Prince Volsicius going out of town.
I thought he'd been gone to Piccadilly.
Yes, he gave it out so, but that was only to cover his design.
What design?
Why, to head the army, which lies concealed for him in Knightsbridge.
I see here is a great deal of plot, Mr. Bayes.
Yes, now it begins to break. But we shall have a world of more business anon.
Enter Prince Volscius, Chloris, Amaryllis, and Harry with a riding cloak and boots.
Sir, you are cruel, thus to leave the town and to retire to country solitude.
We hoped this summer that we should at least have held the honour of your company.
Held the honour of your company. Pretty expressed. Held the honour of your company. God's succours, these fellows will never take notice of anything.
I assure you, sir, I admire it extremely. I don't know what he does.
Aye, he's a little envious. But 'tis no great matter. Come.
Pray let us too this single boon obtain, that you will here with poor us still remain. Before your horses come, pronounce our fate, for then, alas, I fear 'twill be too late.
Sad.
Harry, my boots, for I'll go rage among my blades encamped, and quit this urban throng.
But pray, Mr. Bayes, is not this a little difficult that you were saying in now, to keep an army thus concealed in Knightsbridge?
In Knightsbridge? Stay.
No, not if the innkeepers be his friends.
His friends? Aye, sir, his intimate acquaintance. Or else, indeed, I grant it could not be.
Yes, faith, so it might be very easily.
Nay, if I do not make all things easy, egad, I'll give you leave to hang me. Now you would think that he is going out of town, but you shall see how prettily I have contrived to stop him presently.
By my troth, sir, you have so amazed me I know not what to think.
Enter Parthenope.
Bless me! How frail are all my best resolves! How in a moment is my purpose changed! Too soon I thought myself secure from love. Fair madam, give me leave to ask her name, who does so gently rob me of my fame, for I should meet the army out of town, and if I fail, must hazard my renown.
My mother, sir, sells ale by the town walls, and me, her dear Parthenope, she calls.
Can vulgar vestments high-born beauty shroud? Thou bring'st the morning pictured in a cloud.
The morning pictured in a cloud. Ah, Catzuckers, what a conceit is there!
Give you good even, sir.
Exit.
O inauspicious stars, that I was born to sudden love, and to more sudden scorn.
Chloris, how? Prince Volscius in love? Ha ha ha!
Exeunt laughing.
Sure, Mr. Bayes, we have lost some jest here that they laugh at so.
Why, did you not observe? He first resolves to go out of town, and then, as he is pulling on his boots, falls in love.
No, I did not observe. That indeed is a very good jest.
Yet now, you shall see a combat betwixt love and honour. An ancient author has made a whole play on't, but I have dispatched it all in this scene.
Volscius sits down.
How has my passion made me Cupid scoff? This hasty boot is on, the other off, and sullen lies with amorous design to quit loud fame and make that beauty mine. My legs, the emblem of my various thought, show to what sad distraction I am brought. Sometimes with stubborn honour like this boot, my mind is guarded and resolved to do't. Sometimes again, that very mind by love, disarmed like this other leg does prove.
What pains Mr. Bayes takes to act this speech himself.
I, the fool, I see, is mightily transported with it.
Shall I to honour or to love give way? Go on, cries honour. Tender love says nay. Honour aloud commands pluck both boots on, but softer love does whisper, put on none. What shall I do? What conduct shall I find to lead me through this twilight of my mind? For as bright day with black approach of night, contending makes a doubtful puzzling light, so does my honour and my love together puzzle me so, I can resolve for neither.
Exit with one boot on and the other off.
By my troth, sir, this is as difficult a combat as ever I saw, and as equal, for 'tis determined on neither side.
Ay, is not, egad, ha! For to go off hip-hop upon this occasion is 1,000 times better than any conclusion in the world, egad. But, sirs, you cannot make any judgment of this play, because we are come but to the end of the second act. Come, the dance.
Dance.
Well, gentlemen, you'll see this dance, if I am not mistaken, take very well upon the stage, when they are perfect in their motions and all that.
I don't know 'twill take, sir, but I'm sure you sweat hard for it.
Ay, sir, it costs me more pains and trouble to do these things than almost the things are worth.
By my troth, I think so, sir.
Oh, not for the things themselves, for I could write you, sir, 40 of 'em in a day. But, egad, these players are such dull persons, that, if a man be not by upon every point, and at every turn, egad, they'll mistake you, sir, and spoil all.
Enter a player.
What? Is the funeral ready?
Yes, sir.
And is the lance filled with wine?
Sir, 'tis just now a-doing.
Stay then, I'll do it myself.
Come, let's go with him.
A match. But, Mr. Johnson, egad, I am not like other persons. They care not what becomes of their things, so they can but get money for 'em. Now, egad, when I write, if it be not just as it should be, in every circumstance, to every particular, egad, I am not able to endure it. I am not myself. I'm out of my wits, and all that. I'm the strangest person in the whole world. For what care I for money? Egad, I write for fame and reputation.
Exit. End of Act 3. Act 4 of The Rehearsal by George Villiers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4, Scene 1. Bayes and the Two Gentlemen.
Gentlemen, because I would not have any two things alike in this play, the last act beginning with a witty scene of mirth, I make this to begin with a funeral.
And that is all your reason for it, Mr. Bayes?
No, sir. I have a precedent for it, too. A person of honour, and a scholar, brought in his funeral just so. And he was one, let me tell you, that knew as well what belonged to a funeral as any man in England, egad.
Nay, if that be so, you are safe.
Egad, but I have another device, a frolic, which I think yet better than all this. Not for the plot or characters, for in my heroic plays I make no difference as to those matters, but for another contrivance.
What is that, I pray?
Why, I have designed a conquest that cannot possibly, egad, be acted in less than a whole week. And I'll speak a bold word, it shall drum, trumpet, shout, and battle, egad, with any of the most warlike tragedy we have, either ancient or modern.
I marry, sir, there you say something.
And pray, sir, how have you ordered this same frolic of yours?
Faith, sir, by the rule of romance. For example, they divide their things into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or as many tomes as they please. Now I would fain know, what should hinder me from doing the same with my things, if I please?
Nay, if you should not be master of your own works, 'tis very hard.
That is my sense. And therefore, sir, whereas every one makes 5 acts to one play, what do me I but make 5 plays to one plot? By which means the auditors have every day a new thing.
Most admirably good, in faith, and must certainly take, because it is not tedious.
Aye, sir, I know that. That's the main point. And then, upon Saturday, to make a close of all, for I ever begin upon a Monday, I make you, sir, a 6th play, that sums up the whole matter to 'em and all that, for fear they should have forgot it.
That consideration, Mr. Bayes, indeed, I think, will be very necessary.
And when comes in your share, pray, sir?
The 3rd week.
I vow you'll get a world of money.
Why, faith, a man must live. And if you don't thus pitch upon some new device, egad, you'll never do it. For this age, take it on my word, is somewhat hard to please. There is one pretty odd passage in the last of these plays, which may be executed in several ways, wherein I'd have your opinion, gentlemen.
Well, what is it?
Why, sir, I make a male person to be in love with a female.
Do you mean that, Mr. Bayes, for a new thing?
Yes, sir, as I have ordered it. You shall hear. He, having passionately loved her through my 5 whole plays, finding at last that she consents to his love, just after that his mother has appeared to him like a ghost, he kills himself. That's one way. The other is, that she coming at last to love him with as violent a passion as he loved her, she kills herself. Now, my question is, which of these 2 persons should suffer upon this occasion?
By my troth, it is a very hard case to decide.
The hardest in the world, egad, and has puzzled this pate very much. What say you, Mr. Smith?
Why, truly, Mr. Bayes, if it might stand with your justice, I should now spare 'em both.
Egad, and I think, why then I'll make him hinder her from killing herself. Aye, it shall be so. Come, come, bring in the funeral.
Enter a funeral with the 2 usurpers and attendants.
Lay it down here. No, here, sir. So, now speak.
Set down the funeral pile, and let our grief receive from its embraces some relief.
Was't not unjust to ravish hence her breath, and in life's stead to leave us naught but death? The world discovers now its emptiness, and by her loss demonstrates we have less.
Is not that good language now? Is not that elevate? It's my non ultra, egad. You must know they were both in love with her.
With her? With whom?
Why, this is Lordella's funeral.
Lardella? Aye, who is she?
Why, sir, the sister of Draw Cancer. A lady that was drowned at sea, and had a way for her winding sheet.
Lardella, oh Lardella, from above, behold the tragic issue of our love. Pity us, sinking under grief and pain, for thy being cast away upon the main.
Look you now, you see I told you true.
Aye, sir, and I thank you for it very kindly.
Ah, egad, but you will not have patience. Honest, mister, you will not have patience.
Pray, Mr. Bayes, who is that Draw Cancer?
Why, sir, a fierce hero that frights his mistress, snubs up kings, baffles armies, and does what he will without regard to good manners, justice, or numbers.
A very pretty character.
But, Mr. Bayes, I thought your heroes had ever been men of great humanity and justice.
Yes, they have been so, but for my part, I prefer that one quality of singly beating of whole armies, above all your moral virtues put together, egad. You shall see him come in presently.
To the players.
Zookers, why don't you read the paper?
Oh, cry you mercy!
Pish! Nay, you are such a stumbler.
Goes to take the paper.
Come, I'll read it myself.
Takes a paper from off the coffin.
Stay, it's an ill hand. I must use my spectacles. This now is a copy of verses, which I make Lardella compose, just as she is dying, with design to have it pinned on her coffin, and so read by one of the usurpers, who is her cousin.
Very shrewd design that, upon my word, Mr. Bayes.
And what do you think I fancy her to make love like here in the paper?
Like a woman. What should she make love like?
Oh, my word, you are out, though, sir. Egad, you are.
What then? Like a man?
No, sir. Like a humble bee.
I confess that I should not have fancied.
It may be so, sir. But it is, though, in order to the opinion of some of your ancient philosophers, who held the transmigration of the soul.
Very fine.
I'll read the title. To my dear coz, King Fizz.
That's a little too familiar with a king, though, sir, by your favour for a humble bee.
Mr. Smith, for other things I grant your knowledge may be above me, but as for poetry, give me leave to say I understand that better. It has been longer my practice. It has indeed, sir.
Your servant, sir.
Pray mark it.
Reads.
Since death my earthly part will thus remove, I'll come a humble bee to your chaste love. With silent wings I'll follow you, dear coz, or else before you in the sunbeams buzz. And when to melancholy groves you come, an airy ghost you'll know me by my hum. For sound, being air, a ghost does well become.
Smith, after a pause.
Admirable.
At night into your bosom I will creep, and buzz but softly if you chance to sleep. Yet in your dreams I will pass sweeping by, and then both hum and buzz before your eye.
By my troth, that's a very great promise.
Yes, and a most extraordinary comfort to boot.
Your bed of love from dangers I will free, but most from love of any future be. And when with pity your heartstrings shall crack, with empty arms I'll bear you on my back.
A pick-a-pack, a pick-a-pack.
Ay, egad, is not that truant now, ha? Is it not truant? Here's the end. Then, at your birth of immortality, like any winged archer, thence I'll fly, and teach you your first fluttering in the sky.
Oh, rare! It is the most natural, refined fancy this that ever I heard, I'll swear.
Yes, I think, for a dead person it is a good enough way of making love. For being divested of her terrestrial part and all that, she is only capable of these little, pretty, amorous designs that are innocent and yet passionate. Come, draw your swords.
Come, sword, come sheath thyself within this breast, that only in Lardella's tomb can rest.
Come, dagger, come, and penetrate this heart, which cannot from Lardella's love depart.
Enter Pallas.
Hold, stop your murdering hands. at Pallas's commands. For the supposed dead, O kings, forbear to act such deadly things. Lardella lives, I did but try, if princes for their loves could die. Such celestial constancy shall by the gods rewarded be. And from these funeral obsequies a nuptial banquet shall arise.
The coffin opens, and a banquet is discovered.
Now it's out. This is the very funeral of the fair person which Vulcius sent word was dead, and Pallas, you see, has turned it into a banquet.
By my troth now, that is new, and more than I expected.
Yes, I knew this would please you, for the chief art in poetry is to elevate your expectation and then bring you off some extraordinary way.
Resplendent Pallas, we indeed do find the fiercest beauty and the fiercer mind. And since to thee Lardella's life we owe, with supple statues in thy temple grow.
Well, since alive Lardella's found, let in full bowls her health go round.
The two usurpers take each of them a bowl in their hands.
But where is the wine?
That shall be mine. Lo, from this conquering lance does flow the purest wine of France.
Fills the bowls out of her lance.
And to appease your hunger, I have in my helmet brought a pie. Lastly, to bear a part with these, behold a buckler made of cheese.
Vanish Pallas. Enter Drawcancer.
What man is this that dares disturb our feast?
He that dares drink, and for that drink dares die, and, knowing this, dares yet drink on, am I.
That is as much as to say that though he would rather die than not drink, yet he would fain drink for all that too.
Right, that's the conceit on it.
'Tis a marvellous good one, I swear.
Sir, if you please, we should be glad to know how long you here will stay, how soon you will go.
Is not that now like a well-bred person, egad? So modest, so gent.
Oh, very like.
You shall not know how long I here will stay, but you shall know I'll take my bowls away.
Snatches the bowls out of the king's hands and drinks them off.
But Mr. Bayes, is that too modest and gent?
No, egad, sir, but it's great.
Though, brother, this grown stranger be a clown, he'll leave us sure a little to gulp down.
Whoe'er to gulp one drop of this dares think I'll stare away his very power to drink.
The two kings sneak off the stage with their attendants.
I drink, I huff, I strut, look big and stare, and all this I can do because I dare.
Exit.
I suppose, Mr. Bayes, this is the fierce hero you spoke of.
Yes, but this is nothing. You shall see him in the last act win above a dozen battles, one after another, egad, as fast as they can possibly be represented.
That will be a fight worth seeing, indeed.
But pray, Mr. Bayes, why do you make the kings let him use 'em so scurvily?
Pooh! That is to raise the character of Drawcancer.
Oh, my word! That was well thought on.
And now, sir, I'll show you a scene indeed, or rather indeed, the scene of scenes. 'Tis an heroic scene.
And pray, sir, what is your design in this scene?
Why, sir, my design is Roman clothes, gilded truncheons, forced conceit, smooth verse, and a rant. In fine, if this scene does not take, egad, I'll write no more. Come in, nay, come in as many as you can. Gentlemen, I must desire you to remove a little, for I must fill the stage.
Why fill the stage?
Oh, sir, because your heroic verse never sounds well, but when the stage is full.
Scene 2. Enter Prince Prettyman and Prince Vulcius.
Nay, hold. Pray by your leave a little. Look you, sir, the drift of this scene is somewhat more than ordinary, for I make 'em both fall out, because they are not in love with the same woman.
Not in love? You mean, I suppose, because they are in love, Mr. Bayes?
No, sir, I say not in love. There's a new conceit for you. Now, speak.
Since fate, Prince Volscius, has found out the way for our so longed for meeting here this day, lend thy attention to my grand concern.
I gladly would that story of thee learn, but thou to love dost, pretty man, incline. Yet love in thy breast is not love in mine.
Antithesis, thine and mine.
Since love itself's the same, why should it be differing in you from what it is in me?
Reasoning, egad, I love reasoning in verse.
Love takes, chameleon-like, a various dye from every plant on which itself does lie.
Simile.
Let not thy love the course of nature fright. Nature does most in harmony delight.
How weak a deity would nature prove, contending with the powerful God of love.
There's a great verse.
If incense thou wilt offer at the shrine of mighty love, burn it to none but mine. Her rosy lips external sweets exhale, and her bright flames make all flames else look pale.
Egad, that is right.
Perhaps dull incense may thy love suffice, but mine must be adored with sacrifice. All hearts turn ashes which her eyes control, the body they consume as well as soul.
My love has yet a power more divine. Victims her altars burn not, but refine. Amidst the flames they ne'er give up the ghost, but with her looks revive, still as they roast. In spite of pain and death they're kept alive. Her fiery eyes make some in fire survive.
That is as well as I can do.
Let my Parthenope at length prevail.
Civil, egad.
I'll sooner have a passion for a whale, in whose vast bulk, though store of oil doth lie, we find more shape, more beauty in a fly.
That's uncivil, egad.
Yes, but as far a fetched fancy, though, egad, as ever you saw.
Soft pretty man, let not thy vain pretence of perfect love defame love's excellence. Parthenope is sure as far above all other loves, as above all is love.
Oh, egad, that strikes me.
To blame my Chloris, gods would not pretend.
Now, mark.
Were all gods joined, they could not hope to mend my better choice for fair Parthenope. Gods would themselves ungod themselves to see.
Now the rant's a-coming.
Durst any of the gods be so uncivil, I'll make that god subscribe himself a devil.
Oh, God succors, that's well writ.
Couldst thou that God from heaven to earth translate, he could not fear to want a heavenly state. Parthenope on earth can heaven create.
Glorious does heaven itself so far excel, she can transcend the joys of heaven in hell.
There's a bull's flight for you now. 'Sdeath, I have lost my peruke. Well, gentlemen, this is that I never yet saw any one could write but myself. Here's true spirit and flame all through, egad. So, pray clear the stage.
He puts him off the stage.
But, Mr. Bayes, pray, why is this scene all in verse?
Oh, sir, the subject is too great for prose.
Well said, i' faith. I'll give thee a pot of ale for that answer. 'Tis well worth it.
Come, with all my heart. I'll make that god subscribe himself a devil. That single line, egad, is worth all that my brother poets ever writ. So, now, let down the curtain.
Exeunt. End of Act 4. Act 5 of the Rehearsal by George Villiers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5, Scene 1. Bayes and the Two Gentlemen.
Now, gentlemen, I will be bold to say I'll show you the greatest scene that ever England saw. I mean, not for words, for those I do not value, but for state, show, and magnificence. In fine, I'll justify it to be as grand to the eye every whit, egad, as that great scene in Harry the Eighth, and grander too, egad, for instead of 2 bishops, I have brought in 2 other cardinals.
The curtain is drawn up, and the 2 usurping kings appear in state, with the 4 cardinals, Prince Prettyman, Prince Volscius, Amaryllis, Chloris, Parthenope, etc., before them, heralds and sergeants-at-arms with maces.
Mr. Bayes, pray what is the reason that 2 of the cardinals are in hats and the other in caps?
Why, sir, because... Oh, begad, I won't tell you.
I ask your pardon, sir.
Now, sir, to the business of today.
Dread sovereign lords, my zeal to you must not invade my duties to your son. Let me entreat that great Prince Prettyman first do speak, whose high preeminence in all things that do bear the name of good may justly claim that privilege.
Royal father, upon my knees I beg that the illustrious Volscius first be heard.
Here it begins to unfold. You may perceive now that he is his son.
Yes, sir, and we are very much beholden to you for that discovery.
That preference is only due to Amaryllis, sir.
I'll make her speak very well, by and by, you shall see.
Invincible sovereigns.
Soft music.
But stay, what sound is this invades our ears?
Sure 'tis the music of the moving spheres.
Behold with wonder, yonder comes from far a godlike cloud and a triumphant car, in which our 2 right kings sit one by one, with virgin vests and laurel garlands on.
Then, brother Fist, 'tis time that we were gone.
The 2 usurpers steal out of the throne and go away.
Look you now, did I not tell you that this would be as easy a turn as the other?
Yes, faith, you did so, though I confess I could not believe you, but you have brought it about, I see.
The 2 right kings of Brentford descend in the clouds, singing in white garments, and 3 fiddlers sitting before them in green.
Now, because the 2 right kings descend from above, I make 'em sing to the tune and style of our modern spirits.
Haste, brother king, we are sent from above.
Let us move, move to remove the fate of Brentford's long united state.
Ta-ra, 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 full east and by south.
We sail with thunder in our mouth, in scorching noonday, whilst the traveller stays. Busy, 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 busy we bustle along, mounted upon warm Phoebus' rays, through the heavenly throng. Haste to those who will feast us at night with a pig's pretty toes.
And we'll fall with our pate in an olio of hate.
But now supper's done, the servitors try, like soldiers, to storm a whole half-moon pie.
They gather hot custard in spoons. Alas, I must leave these half-moons and repair to my trusty dragoons.
Oh, stay, for you need not as yet go astray. The tide, like a friend, has brought ships in our way, and on their high ropes we will play. Like maggots and filberds we'll snug in our shell, We'll frisk in our shell, we'll firk in our shell, and farewell.
But the ladies have all inclination to dance, and the green frogs croak out a coronato of France.
Is not that pretty now? The fiddlers are all in green.
Aye, but they play no coranto.
No, but they play a tune. That's a great deal better.
No coranto, quotha. That's a good one with all my heart. Come, sing on.
Now mortals that hear how we tilt and career, with wonder will fear the event of such things as shall never appear.
Stay you to fulfill what the gods have decreed.
Then call me to help you if there shall be need.
So firmly resolved is a true Brentford king to save the distressed, and help to 'em bring that ere a full pot of good ale you can swallow. He's here with a whoop, and gone with a holler.
Bayes phillips his finger and sings after him.
He's here with a whoop, and gone with a holla. This, sir, you must know, I thought once to have brought in with a conjurer.
Aye, that would have been better.
No, faith, not when you consider it. For thus 'tis more compendious, and does the thing every whit as well.
Thing? What thing?
Why, bring 'em down again into the throne, sir. What thing would you have?
Well, but methinks the sense of this song is not very plain.
Plain? Why, did you ever hear any people in clouds speak plain? They must be all for flight of fancy, at its full range, without the least check or control upon it. When once you tie up spirits, and people in clouds to speak plain, you spoil all.
Bless me, what a monster's this!
The two kings light out of the clouds and step into the throne.
Come now to serious counsel we'll advance.
I do agree, but first let's have a dance.
Right. You did that very well, Mr. Cartwright. But first, let's have a dance. Pray remember that. Be sure you do it always just so, for it must be done as if it were the effect of thought and premeditation. But first, let's have a dance. Pray remember that.
Well, I can hold no longer. I must gag this rogue. There's no enduring of him.
No, prithee, make use of thy patience a little longer. Let's see the end of him now.
Dance a grand dance.
This, now, is an ancient dance, of right belonging to the kings of Brentford, and since derived, with a little alteration, to the Inns of Court.
An alarm. Enter two heralds.
What saucy groom molests our privacies?
The army's at the door, and in disguise, desires a word with both your majesties.
Having from Knightsbridge hither marched by stealth.
Bid 'em attend a while, and drink our health.
How, Mr. Bayes? The army in disguise?
Ay, sir, for fear the usurpers might discover them that went out but just now.
Why, what if they had discovered them?
Why, then they had broke this design.
That's true indeed. Did not think of that.
Here, take 5 guineas for those warlike men.
And here's 5 more. That makes the sum just 10.
We've not seen so much the Lord knows when.
Exeunt heralds.
Speak on, brave Amaryllis.
Invincible sovereigns, blame not my modesty, if at this grand conjuncture.
Drum beats behind the stage.
What dreadful noise is this that comes and goes?
Enter a soldier with his sword drawn.
Haste hence, great sirs, your royal person safe, for the event of war no mortal knows. The army, wrangling for the gold you gave, first fell to words, and then to handy blows.
Exit.
O dangerous estate of sovereign power, obnoxious to the change of every hour.
Let us for shelter in our cabinet stay. Perhaps these threatening storms may pass away.
Exeunt.
But, Mr. Bayes, did you not promise us, just now, to make Amarilla speak very well?
Ay, and so she would have, but that they hindered her.
How, sir? Whether you would or no?
Ay, sir, the plot lay so that, I vow to gad, it was not to be avoided.
Marry, that was hard.
But pray, who hindered her?
Why, the battle, sir, that's just coming in at the door. And I'll tell you now a strange thing, though I don't pretend to do more than other men, egad, I'll give you both a whole week to guess how I'll represent this battle.
I had rather be bound to fight your battle, sir, I assure you.
Why, there it's now. Fight a battle? There's the common error. I knew presently where I should have you. Why, pray, sir, do but tell me this one thing. Can you think it a decent thing, in a battle before ladies, to have men run their swords through one another, and all that?
No, faith, 'tis not civil.
On the other side, to have a long relation of squadrons here, and squadrons there, what is that but a dull prolixity?
Excellently reasoned, by my troth.
Wherefore, sir, to avoid both those indecorums, I sum up my whole battle in the representation of two persons only, no more, and yet so lively that, I vow to gad, you would swear 10,000 men were at it, really engaged. Do you mark me?
Yes, sir, but I think I should hardly swear, though, for all that.
By my troth, sir, but you would, though, when you see it. For I make 'em both come out in armour, cap a pee, with their swords drawn and hung with a scarlet ribbon at their wrists, which you know represents fighting enough, each of 'em holding a lute in his hand.
How, sir? Instead of a buckler?
Oh, Lord! Instead of a buckler? Pray, sir, do you ask me no more questions? I make 'em, sir, play the battle in recitativo. And here's the conceit. Just at the very same instant that one sings, the other, sir, recovers you his sword, and puts himself in a warlike posture, so that you have at once your ear entertained with music and good language, and your eye satisfied with the garb and accoutrements of war. Is not that well?
Ay, what would you have more? He were a devil that would not be satisfied with that.
I confess, sir, you stupefy me.
You shall see.
But, Mr. Bayes, might not we have a little fighting? For I love those plays where they cut and slash one another upon the stage for a whole hour together.
Why, then, to tell you true, I have contrived it both ways. But you shall have my recitativo first.
Enter at several doors the general and lieutenant general, armed cap a pee, with each of them a lute in his hand, and his sword drawn, and hung with a scarlet ribbon at his wrist.
Villain, thou liest.
Arm, arm, Gonsalvo, arm, what ho! The lie no flesh can brook, I trow.
Advance from Acton with the musketeers.
Draw down the Chelsea cuirassiers.
The band you boast of, Chelsea cuirassiers, shall in my Putney pikes now meet their peers.
Chiswickians, aged and renowned in fight, join with the Hammersmith Brigade.
You'll find my Mortlake boys will do them right, unless by Fulham numbers o'erlaid.
Let the left wing of Twickenham Foot advance, and line that eastern hedge.
The horse I raised in petty France shall try their chance, and scour the meadows overgrown with sedge.
Stand, give the word.
Bright sword.
That may be thine, but 'tis not mine.
Give fire, at once give fire, and let those recreant troops perceive mine ire.
Pursue, pursue, they fly, that first did give the lie.
Exeunt.
This now is not improper, I think, because the spectators know all these towns, and may easily conceive them to be within the dominions of the two kings of Brentford.
Most exceedingly well designed.
How do you think I have contrived to give a stop to this battle?
How?
By an eclipse. which, let me tell you, is a kind of fancy that was yet never so much as thought of, but by myself, and one person more that shall be nameless. Come in, Mr.
Enter Lieutenant General.
What midnight darkness does invade the day, and snatch the victor from his conquered prey? Is the sun weary of his bloody fight, and winks upon us with his eye of light? 'Tis an eclipse. This was unkind, O moon, to clap between me and the sun so soon. Foolish eclipse, thou this in vain hast done. My brighter honour has eclipsed the sun. But now behold, eclipses 2 in 1.
Exit.
This is an admirable representation of a battle as ever I saw.
Aye, sir. But how would you fancy now to represent an eclipse?
Why, that's to be supposed.
Supposed? Aye, you are ever at your suppose. Why, you may as well suppose the whole play. No, it must come in upon the stage, that's certain, but in some odd way that may delight, amuse, and all that. I have a conceit for it, that I am sure is new, and I believe to the purpose.
How's that?
Why, the truth is, I took the first hint of this out of a dialogue between Phoebus and Aurora in The Slighted Maid, which, by my troth, was very pretty, though I think you'll confess this is a little better.
No doubt on it, Mr. Bayes.
But, sir, you have heard, I suppose, that your eclipse of the moon is nothing else but an interposition of the earth between the sun and moon, as likewise your eclipse of the sun is caused by an interlocation of the moon betwixt the earth and sun?
I have heard so, indeed.
Well, sir, what do me I but make the earth, sun, and moon come out upon the stage and dance the hey-hum? Why, of necessity, by the very nature of this dance, the earth must be sometimes between the sun and the moon moon between the earth and the sun. And there you have both your eclipses. That is new, egad, huh?
That must needs be very fine, truly.
Yes, there is some fancy in it. And then, sir, that there may be something in it of a joke, I make the moon sell the earth a bargain. Come out, eclipse, to the tune of Tom Tyler.
Enter Luna.
Orbius, O Orbius, come to me, thou little rogue, Orbius.
Enter the earth.
What calls terra firma, pray?
Luna that ne'er shines by day.
What? Means Luna in a veil?
Luna means to shew her tail.
Enter Soul.
Fie, sister, fie, thou mak'st me muse, dary down to see the orb abuse.
I hope his anger 'twill not move, since I did it out of love. Hey down, dearie, down.
Where shall I thy true love know, thou pretty, pretty moon?
Tomorrow soon, ere it be noon, on Mount Vesuvio.
Then I will shine.
And I will be fine.
And we will drink nothing but Lipari wine.
And we will drink nothing but Lipari wine.
So now, vanish eclipse, and enter to other battle, and fight. Here now, if I am not mistaken, you will see fighting enough.
A battle is fought between foot and great hobby horses. At last, Draw Cancer comes in and kills them all on both sides. All this while the battle is fighting, Bayes is telling them when to shout, and shouts with them.
Others may boast a single man to kill, but I the blood of thousands daily spill. Let petty kings the names of parties know. Where'er I come, I slay both friend and foe. The swiftest horsemen my swift rage controls, and from their bodies drives their trembling souls. If they had wings, and to the gods could fly, I would pursue and beat 'em through the sky, and make proud Jove with all his thunder. See, the single arm more dreadful is than he.
Exit.
There's a brave fellow for you now, sirs. I have read of your Hector, your Achilles, and 100 more. But I defy all your histories, and your romances too, egad, to show me one such conqueror as this straw can, sir.
I swear, I think you may.
But, Mr. Bayes, how shall all these dead men go off? For I see none alive to help him.
Go off? Why, as they came on, upon their legs. How should they go off? Why, do you think the people do not know they are not dead? He is mighty ignorant, poor man. Your friend here is very silly, Mr. Johnson. Egad, he is. Come, sir, I'll show you go off. Rise, sirs, and go about your business. There's go off for you. Hark you, Mr. Ivory. Gentlemen, I'll be with you presently.
Exit.
Will you so? Then we'll be gone.
Ay, prithee, let's go, that we may preserve our hearing. One battle more would take mine quite away.
Exeunt. Enter Bayes and players.
Where are the gentlemen?
They are gone, sir.
Gone? S'death, this last act is best of all. I'll go fetch him again.
Exit.
Stay, here's a foul piece of paper of his. Let's see what it is.
Reads.
The argument of the 5th act. Chloris, at length, being sensible of Prince Prettyman's passion, consents to marry him. But just as they are going to church, Prince Prettyman, meeting by chance with old Joan the chandler's widow, and remembering it was she that brought him acquainted with Chloris, out of a high point of honour break off his match with Chloris, and marries old Joan. Upon which Chloris, in despair, drowns herself, and Prince Prettyman discontentedly walks by the riverside.
Poxhunt, this will never do. 'Tis just like the rest. Come, let's be gone.
Exeunt. Enter Bayes.
A plague on 'em both for me. They have made me sweat to run after 'em. A couple of senseless rascals that had rather go to dinner than see this play out. Oh, with a pox to 'em! What comfort has a man to write for such dull rogues? Come, where are you, sir? Come away quick, quick.
Enter players again.
Sir, they are gone to dinner.
Yes, I know the gentlemen are gone, but I ask for the players.
Why, an't please your worship, sir, the players are gone to dinner too.
How? Are the players gone to dinner? 'Tis impossible. The players gone to dinner. Egad, if they are, I'll make 'em know what it is to injure a person that does 'em the honour to write for 'em and all that. A company of proud, conceited, humorous, cross-grained persons and all that. Egad, I'll make 'em the most contemptible, despicable, inconsiderable persons and all that in the whole world for this trick. Egad, I'll be revenged on 'em. I'll sell this play to the other house.
Nay, good sir, don't take away the book. You'll disappoint the town that comes to see it acted here this afternoon.
That's all one. I must reserve this comfort to myself. My book and I will go together. We will not part, indeed, sir. The town. Why, what care I for the town? Egad, the town has used me as scurvily as the players have done. But I'll be revenged on them, too. I will both lampoon and print 'em, too, egad. Since they will not admit of my plays, they shall know what a satirist I am. And so farewell to the stage for ever, egad.
Exit.
What shall we do now?
Come then, let's set up bills for another play. We shall lose nothing by this, I warrant you.
I'm of your opinion. But before we go, let's see Haynes and Shirley practice the last dance, for that may serve for another play.
I'll call 'em. I think they're in the tiring room.
The dance done.
Come, let's go away to dinner.
Exit all. Epilogue. The play is at an end, but where's the plot? That circumstance our poet Bayes forgot. And we can boast, though 'tis a plodding age, no place is freer from it than the stage. The ancients plotted, though, and strove to please, with sense that might be understood with ease. They every scene with so much wit did store, that who brought any in went out with more. But this new way of wit does so surprise, men lose their wits in wondering where it lies. If it be true that monstrous births presage the following mischiefs that afflicts the age, and sad disasters to the state proclaim, plays without head or tail may do the same. Wherefore, for ours and for the kingdom's peace, may this prodigious way of writing cease. Let's have at least once in our lives a time when we may hear some reason, not all rhyme. We have these 10 years felt its influence. Pray let this prove a year of prose and sense. End of Act 5. End of The Rehearsal by George Villiers.